There they go into the back. The blue light on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more. And the West Australian champion has done it again.
Yes, hello and welcome to another big edition of Talking Trots and a big news week. More Nullarbor horses announced. We've got the Cambridge race, plenty of big races around the country. Swayze has his final hit out before coming over here at Menangle on Saturday night, and some great racing here in the West, including the Bunbury Cup, which was an absolute cracker last Saturday night, and it's getting very exciting. Morts, as I say hello to you, as we get very close to the Nullarbor, only about 3 weeks away.
Evening, Michael. Good to be back again. Seem to be in 1 week and out the next.
Yeah, we're very part-time at the moment, Morts.
We are. But,
We've got a few things going on in the background, but
all
I reckon we're going to be right up to the Nullarbor and Fremantle Cup. We'll be here on a Thursday night, Morts.
Won't miss. Now, Michael, what a week. What a week it was. 30th anniversary of one of the greatest albums of all time. Frog
My
Stomp
hometown.
by Silverchair.
My hometown. I saw that on social media. You must have given the neighbours and mate.
Absolutely
I could hear it from my end
smashed
of
it all
Maylands.
weekend.
Yeah.
One of the greatest albums of all
Yeah.
time. And the other great thing that happened this week was Magnificent Storm winning the Bunbury Cup.
Yeah. Unbelievable performance from Ray Williams and the team to get him back. It's amazing. Well, first of all, that not too many horses survive what he had to go through. And to get him back, he went super at Pinjarra and then to win a Bunbury Cup against Mr. Smarty and the like and was holding him easy.
Oh, it was just great. It was great to see. I mean, harness racing needs horses like Magnificent Storm. He draws people to the track. He's a superstar. We thought we'd lost him. And as you said, to come back from that injury, just to save the horse's life.
Yeah, that's right.
In the first instance was just incredible. To get him back to the track, to go the times they went down there, sub 150 down there in Pinjarra, and then front up in Bunbury against a very smart horse in Mr. Smarty, who was first up, but beautifully rated by Aidan DeCampo and Ray Williams. Aidan DeCampo, formidable duo and great training performance, and just so good to see him back. We need horses like that to get people to the track. So that was great. Some interesting racing at Gloucester Park last Friday night. Interesting, I wasn't glued to the set, but it was interesting.
Inspired? Is that your...
I thought it was a great drive in the first by Aldo Cortopassi. He just nursed Vanderbilt out there wide, didn't panic, got to the breeze and was just too strong. Blaze Away, how well's he going, Michael?
Yeah, flying. For our guest tonight, Michael Young, we can chat about Blaze Away, and isn't he flying?
Absolutely
Trots
flying.
in, and some great scenes after with another heap of people on the track.
It's great. That's what it's all about, seeing the big crowds, and I think the idea was to maybe turn him out, but now pushing
No, he's turned out.
Oh, he's turned out.
He did end up nominating for this week, but he sent a message through saying that he's decided to turn him out.
Well, he's done very well coming back, and just a change of environment there was obviously the one thing the horse needed. Great win, Delvey Robin. Good drive
Really good.
by Junior, no surprise there. Strong win by Magnus Victor. Poor old Joseph ran into the just mistimed the start. Just hit the arm, but managed to get him back in the race, and that was a massive win. A couple of highlights down in the bush. Narragan's Sweet Vivian, that was just free money given what he'd done the start before.
Yep.
He won by 30 metres and paid $1.38.
Yeah,
It's better than bank interest. Good first up win, Franco Encore down at Bunbury. Beat a nice field, started out wide, and good training performance there by Ryan Bell. And Wicked Hustler was another one that got out to a terrific price down in Bunbury. $10.
Yeah.
Horse has been in superb form. Got out to $10 and won. So it's been a great, and poor old Vance, he got a bit of a holiday, didn't he?
Yeah, we've had a couple of holidays lately.
Yeah. So anyway, boys got a suntan.
Not me.
No. That is one thing which is guaranteed in life, Michael.
Translucent.
Yeah, if I see you walking tan, I know you've been talking to Donald Trump. You got the brand of the spray tan from him, because you're not going to get a tan. Now, Friday night at Gloucester Park, it was a double to the very powerful Michael Young stable, and we'll be talking to Michael very shortly.
Good form. It's the state's leading trainer.
I know. He's travelling beautifully. Junior got 4, which is no real surprise. Down at Narrogin, it was a training and driving, was a training double to Christopher Voke and a driving treble to Chris Voke down there at Narrogin. Saturday at Bunbury, a training double to Ryan Bell, driving double to Kyle Symington, and 3 to Joseph Savelko.
Driving good form.
That's one good thing that the new handicapping system has done.
The young drivers coming through.
Young drivers coming through, absolutely. So 3 to Joseph. Monday at Pinjarra, driving and training double to Dylan Edgerton Green. Tuesday at Gloucester Park, training double to Team Bond and Aidan DeCampo, and a driving double to Denny Roberts and Aidan DeCampo as well. So big week in harness racing, but the highlight for me, Magnificent Storm. It was the highlight for sure. It was great to see him back, and
I reckon your neighbours were really happy
they were.
about Frog Stomp.
They were. Pure massacre.
Ray doesn't even know what Frog Stomp is.
No. Well, it's
too young.
It's 30 years ago, so old Silverchair, yes.
I actually saw them when they were 16 at the Cambridge Hotel in Newcastle.
Cambridge, well, that was 2 years after they'd released Frog Stomp.
Yeah.
14 years of age. So, but no, the highlight, definitely Magnificent Storm. What great training performance, and just good to see him back. And that's why people would have gone along Saturday night, was to see horses like Magnificent Storm.
Well, it's time to introduce our guest this evening, and it is not only the state's leading trainer, but the Metro leading trainer in Michael Young. He leads going into the 4th month of the year. He had another couple of winners on Friday night, a couple of very good winners on one of the most promising horses probably to come to WA recently, and certainly in his stable is Hugo Tastic, and it was an armchair drive for Gary Hall Jr. with Hugo Tastic.
Moon coming on wider, having fun the inside. No Noni is hooking out 4 deep now, letting go with a good run, but into the straight they run, and Hugo Tastic has got nicely clear from CD3. Down the outside is No Noni, getting home hard now, and back on the inside is Having Fun, but it is all Hugo Tastic racing right away from CD3 and No Noni, and Hugo Tastic beats CD3. No Noni, a good run, was wide on the track.
The state's leading trainer joins us on the line. Michael Young, welcome to the program.
Afternoon, guys.
You sit atop the premiership. You feeling any pressure? Just cruising along?
No, I don't think I'll be there for long, but it's a nice spot to be so far.
Team Bond are about to ramp up, I think.
Yeah. That's I think I led it early last year as well, and ended up missing by a long way. So it's probably going to happen again this year. But nice to keep the spot warm for Bondi for a while.
Yeah, doing very well. Looking for a 3-peat in the football, I believe, and now looking to take out the premiership. 115 races, 36 wins, 17 seconds, 18 thirds and 15 fourths. Been pretty consistent of that, and haven't been winning. They've been around the place, Michael.
Yeah, probably the best start to the season I've ever had. Got a really good team of horses at the moment as a whole. So, we cut the numbers right back at the start of the year, and kind of went for more quality over quantity, and it's worked so far.
And Hugo Tastic is certainly one of those horses. He came from New Zealand. How did you come across him?
Actually, Junior recommended him to us. We had a look at him, and he obviously come through Blanchard, which is a long-time friend of Senior and Juniors. So, we had a look at him and liked what we saw, and yeah, rest is history. Now he's here.
He's well related. He's a brother to Mr. Fantastic, and also the mare that Justin used to train. Better Get It On.
Okay, yeah, she was a very handy mare.
Yeah, and he's
and
he's my sweet.
Sorry,
boy.
the mare ended up here. So Trevor brought the mare over, Lindsay in foal. So he had a sibling at the sales this year. I think Ryan Bell bought it.
Yeah, I think 30 or 40, I think. Yeah.
It was one of the later lots. I said to Trevor that he was unlucky because Hugo hadn't started yet, but we've actually had Hugo here for a while. We got him pretty much right up ready to race last time in. He got a cut on his knee and it was right where the boot sat, so we had to tip him out and then start again. Otherwise, he would have been at the races probably 3 or 4 months ago and might have pushed up the price of the yearling at the sales.
So he's won his 2 races since he's been here. What are the shorter and longer term plans with him, Michael?
Short term is just whatever's kind of coming up at the time. I think the Easter Cup's on in a couple of weeks. Maybe that's a 50 grand race. We're not qualified from a stand yet, so we might make a trip to trials and see if he gets away. And if he does, then that's probably a pretty suitable race for him. But he's kind of in that weird grade at the moment that's kind of hard to make plans. Don't know how good he is or how far he's going to progress. So we'll just work it out over the next kind of half a dozen runs on what he's doing, and then we'll kind of get an idea on what to aim for with him.
And based on that, you would think race 1 on Friday night, tomorrow night, that he would be very hard to beat there in barrier 4. You've got Chasing Hill in the 1 and Montana DJ out there in 6. Hugo should take care of them.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it'll be as easy as that. Like it's a pretty decent field. Obviously, Chasing Hill's drawn 1. He went 55 and a bit in front last start, and Aiden's 2 horses both go okay, Menhamshire especially. So, we've got the draw advantage over him, and it looks to map pretty good for Hugo. So he definitely gets his chance to win again, but I don't think it'll be a walk in the park.
No, it is a very nice field. As you said, possibly the draw is what does tip it in your favour. And then in race number 3, you've got a horse which has been going pretty well of late. It started out a while back, and it was running around in Albany and quite a few of the country tracks there, but you've brought it to town and seems to have stepped up, and that's Princess Katie. Got a nice draw there on the back line.
Yeah, I always thought that she was going to be okay, in which she still is just okay, but she's just kind of in the right grade. But she always showed a bit as a 2 and 3 year old, even with the fact that it looked like she'd get better with time. But she just was so unlucky with draws pretty much her whole juvenile career, and had Waterloo going around in the same races, and Waterloo used to just lead from anywhere and kind of run home in 26, and if you weren't leaders back or 3 fence, you weren't earning any money, and we just never really got the chance to draw to sit in that spot and earn some money. So she was always kind of midfield but going okay, and obviously now we got to start again without Waterloo, and now she's had her chance to win a few races as well.
All right, then, speaking of Waterloo, you take her on in the race for the Roses. You've got Penny Black, and Michael, this is really her go. 2,500 metres stand for against the fillies and mares.
Yeah, looking forward to this race, actually. I see Waterloo trialled really good on Sunday. She's been kind of off in the wilderness for a while, not really showing her best form, so hopefully she holds off on that for another week. But apart from that, it looks a really good race for Penny. We got in really good on the handicaps, so providing she just steps safe, I would think she could take care of these with Waterloo kind of being the only danger. The rest of them are, to me, the rest of them are a long way behind in class.
And you do also have Akushla McRee, who's owned by Hayden King, outright.
Oh, that's great.
How's she going? There was a bit of banter going on Friday night up in the Beau Rivage with yourself and Hayden and Oli.
Yeah, she's going well, actually. She's thought her trial was pretty good. She did a lot of chasing in that. I think it was 27 and a piece down the back, and she did a lot of the chasing there, and she never really gave it away till kind of 50 from the line. So, I think she's definitely come back better than she was last time in, which we thought she would. But, I see she's had one stand in New Zealand and she bombed it. So, we'll cross our fingers for Emily and hope she can get her away tomorrow night.
All right, you've got a smart hand tomorrow night. Penny Black, she's been the best supported, $2 into $1.50. Who's your best, Hugo Tastic or Penny Black?
I'd like to say both of them.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
You can, but...
Hopefully they both just win, and hopefully they're both on to bigger things. But yeah, that doesn't always work like that in racing. But I think I'd love to see Penny win. I just love watching her race and go about her business. So yeah, I'd love to see her win.
Yeah, she is very good. She's very tough, and always good to see her win. Michael, just your thoughts so far. We're now 3 months in from the release of the new handicapping system. What's your thoughts so far?
I don't mind it. From a training point of view, it seems pretty easy to find races for your horses. Just the horse numbers around at the moment is probably what's causing more issue with not enough races holding up, and like that race one tomorrow night, I only had Hugo nominated for that. And the other two guys' races fell over, Chasing Hill and Montana DJ, so they got lumped in there as well. So you end up with 3 in one race that probably could have been competitive in each of their own races on the night. So that's kind of frustrating, but the horse numbers will pick back up and it'll work out a bit better again. But yeah, so far I don't have a problem with it. But nor should I. I'm on top of the premiership.
You are the leading trainer, and tell you what, you've had your 2-year-olds went super this year, and even on Tuesday was a really good performance by your one by Captain Midnight.
Yeah, I've been really lucky this year. Kind of always gone to sales and bought 1 or 2, and just. I wouldn't say been unsuccessful, but just got average ones. And this year I went and bought 2 that are probably a bit above average. And Steve's given me Toby George to train, and I think he's above average as well. So got 3 really good hands going into the features later in the year, like the Westbred and the Pearl and that. So really looking forward to that. And I own one of them, so hopefully he's the best one of them all.
And you went to the sales and you picked up 4. And
that was an accident. I only went for 1. So
I opened the bar too early.
I get a bit of white line fever when I walk into that APG shed, and my arm starts twitching, and all of a sudden got too many horses. But yeah, just went for the 1 colt and ended up with 3 fillies as well. So we'll see how we go.
Was that the Sweet Lou colt?
Yes, yep. I think I have an unhealthy obsession with Sweet Lou at the moment. So I just seem to have millions of Sweet Lou's, and then picked him out, and another one.
We'll talk about Sweet Lou, a couple of Sweet Lou's in just a moment. But you also bought one out of a horse that Mortz knows very well in Alta Louisa.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she was a nice little type, and probably got her for a pretty good price as well. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do as well. So, I actually had a really good year this year syndicating them, and that's why I ended up buying a couple more. The colt was pretty much done before we even got to the sales. So, figured I could probably spend a little bit more and sell those ones as well. And, did. So, got lucky this year.
Now, speaking of Sweet Lou, Blaze Away. Geez, he's been going good this time in for you?
Yeah, really good. Like Junior said on Friday night, that he wouldn't be tipping him out, but I slept on it and decided he's a bad judge, and I tipped him out anyway.
And there was a big crowd on track as well for the picture.
Yeah, that was good. I was weaving through a big bunch of people trying to get out and back off. So yeah, it's good. I actually enjoy that side of it. The like the people, doesn't matter what kind of share they've got, they love it. And if you didn't know, you would think they owned 100% of the horse because they get 100% of the excitement.
They sure do. And just on the Sweet Lou's, the Sweet Lou filly that you had last time in, that I think she broke records every time you put her around, or at least the first lap records. Where's she at the moment?
She is in work. That's Fly by Lou. Yeah. She's in work. She's a different horse at the moment. Fingers crossed, but we'll see what happens. She's got all the ability in the world, but she's a crazy Sheila. So yeah, well, not too sure.
Yeah, well, you probably met a few of those over your time, Michael. You said back at the start that you'd cut your numbers back and you're looking for quality. How many have you got at the moment?
We're down to 15 at the moment.
Okay.
So we were up at about 25 at one stage. So we cut some bad horses and we cut some bad owners, and away we went.
Yeah, we've both got those, Michael. But no, that's good. And as you say, there's nothing better than going out the track and you just got a big group of owners, albeit what size share they have, and to see that the owners on Friday night with Blaze away was good to see. So doing a good job, and you've got some good owners in your syndicate. So I'm sure you're going to be hard to topple in the leading state and metro trainer race, that's for sure.
At least for the next month.
Yes.
Yeah. I've probably got enough ahead to last at least another month, so that'll be nice.
All right, mate. Really good to talk to you. We'll see you out here tomorrow night, and good luck with your runners. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
There we go. Michael Young, and doing flying at the moment.
Oh, that's why it's called the very powerful Michael Young stable. They are going beautifully interesting, cut back some of the numbers and gone for a bit more quality in a couple of the horses he's got going around. We talk about Hugo Tastic and, Penny Black and Blaze Away. There's three really nice horses, so doing a very good job.
If you can get Fly by Lou back to the track, she's very exciting.
Very quick.
Very quick, very exciting.
So, no, it was good to talk to Michael, and a couple of really good live chances. I was going to tell him I didn't think Princess Katie would ever win a race in the Metro, but he did it. So
did that.
Well done.
Now, we spoke about Magnificent Storm and the Nullarbor contenders. Now, yesterday with Gareth Hall, they announced Mr. Smarty will fill the Steve Waters Gary Hall senior slot, so that takes it to 5. So half the field has been filled. We've got Swayze for Tab Touch, Don Hugo for Kingstead Lodge, who took over that slot from Summit.
Now, he drew a nice barrier.
At
Cambridge.
I think he'll be winning Don Hugo. Catch Away for Rand Racing Syndicate. Magnificent Storm for Regency Foods. Minstrel is the Ladbrokes slot, unfortunately for you, Morts, but great pickup for Ladbrokes to get probably WA's best pacer, or reigning champion anyway, and Mr. Sparty for Stephen and Gary Hall. So 4 to go. That's 6. 4 to go. We have Jevons Racing, who's got Swing Band, and Wave Rider was really good at Bunbury.
He was better, yeah.
JP Pacing.
Yep.
How's the discussions going there?
Yeah, terrific. Thank you.
Any announcements?
No.
Okay. Swandu and Team Bond. And Team Bond, they've got He's a Sport going around tomorrow night in free-for-all. They've also got Tenzig Bromack, who was fantastic last start. So they've got a couple there that they could call on as well. But really interesting, the testing tomorrow night for He's a Sport.
What a race that is going to be.
It's as good a race, I think, since the 2012 Inters.
Yep. Fantastic.
Quinny against
Swayze and the locals. We've got 3 of the best in there.
And then they got to back up for the Retrovision Fremantle Cup a week later, Morts.
Just a lazy $300,000. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that's the test. It's a backing up after a tough run. So it should be a very competitive race again.
Cambridge tomorrow. It's on. There's the trot race, which is on at 2:49, which is the Locomotive and Queen Elida and the really good trotters.
Is it her last?
Yeah, I think it is. Queen Elida. She's going to the breeding barn. And then at 3:52 WA time, we get to see the race by Betcha. And Don Hugo, 2:15 with Tab Touch, drawn 2 beautifully in barrier 2. The great Luke Allen McCarthy aboard. Republican Party for Carter Dalgetty and Cran in barrier 3. Merlin in barrier 7. Don't Stop Dreaming in barrier 5. Leap to Fame in barrier 8. Chase a Dream in 9. 250 Leap to Fame.
250.
Who would have thought Leap to Fame wouldn't be favourite?
I know.
Who'd have thought? Like going back 6 weeks ago, it would be impossible to think that Leap to Fame wouldn't be favourite going into Cambridge.
Well, just a couple of minutes ago when we first mentioned Don Hugo, your first comment was from 2 he'll lead and win.
Yeah.
Now, you'd never have contemplated saying something like that with the big fella in the race.
Even going back, I mean, when he won the Eureka, I think some people questioned it, and then he's come out. He's
just
won
gone bang, bang, bang. He's certainly franked that form as being one of the best horses in Australasia. And of course,
Miracle Mile.
He does have the master.
Yeah, Luke. I mean, his drive in both the Inter-Dominion and the Miracle Mile were inch perfect.
Yep, certainly were.
And he's got to give it every chance. And then let's hope and pray everything goes well, and he's on that plane with Swayze and Catch a Wave with the thoroughbreds as well.
So, given the timing, there should be no problems around
well, Luke
transport.
keeps on telling me that the flights are perfect, so just hopefully he gets through the run and everything works out, because Luke keeps on telling me the flights work out for them. So
great.
It's
going to be a good night.
Let's hope. And but really, really good news. Now, there was big news last week, the week before. Copy That's coming over to stand for our mate Merv Butterworth in WA. Which is big news. And I did hear a whisper during the week there could be another horse coming to stand at WA as well next year as well.
Okay.
So some
That'd
of the
be good.
Yeah, some of the breeding ranks and stallions over here are starting to build. So that's a bit of exciting times. And obviously Copy That's by American Ideal, who you know a lot about, but also like his side, the most number of WA Pacing Cup winners.
Right.
American Ideal.
Yep.
I think Alan Parker sent me that stat. And obviously he throws them all ages, because Ideal Beaches, who won the Sales Classic, is an American Ideal, and
absolutely
just continues to throw great horses. Obviously, that was very, very good.
He certainly was
all through his career. So the Butterworth Merv sending him over.
Very good. That'll certainly strengthen the ranks. That's for sure.
Indeed. All right. Now this segment, Sports, is brought to you by our very good friends at Steel Blue Boots. Built for comfort, made for work, well over 700 stockists nationwide.
They are a mark of true skill, Michael, as you know, designed for comfort, durability and choice, backed by a 30-day 100% comfort guarantee, which is useless because...
you don't need it.
No, definitely don't.
You don't need it. They are the best and most comfortable work boots. And I'll tell you what, isn't it great to have the great DK back doing the ads for them?
Yeah, it's good to hear his voice.
Some really good ads as well.
Yes. Still wear yours in the shower, Michael?
Yes,
they
I
go
do.
Beautifully?
You can't get them off me,
Yeah,
Morts.
I know.
You can't get them off me.
Yep.
Nicole
complains.
He was in Adelaide this week, wasn't he? How man?
Yes, they won an award for the best supplier over there where he was, something which they haven't done in there before, so he was pretty chuffed when I spoke to him. So he'll be chasing a quiet ale tomorrow night at Gloucester Park as he comes along.
See his couple of runners.
Yeah, he's got 3, and you've got...
we get to see the big Gazza return, Rolling Fire. He's a bit short.
I was going to say, he looked a bit short, Michael.
I think you might get out. You might get black figures about him. And El Chema, geez, how's an El Chema? I was a bit worried about him in his first run or two, but he's turned the corner, and geez, his last couple of runs have been good.
His last run was outstanding. Yeah. He normally can just switch off when he's in that position, but good drive by Matty, got him down and pacing, and boy, he really put in, so that was good to see. And yeah, Gazza at $1.70, that's $1.60, a bit short.
What's your other runner?
Mickey's Beach, drawn.
Oh, of course.
Drawn well.
Inside the back line.
Yeah, drawn well behind the favourites. So
he's got to be a real chance in.
yeah, I would think so.
In race number 3. Sister Sammy's the favourite there on Tab Touch, and Mickey's Beach is currently, was there a second ago?
About $3, I think.
Yeah,
somewhere.
he's about $3.50. Here's Mickey's Beach.
And that the Nullarbor, the Road to Riches free-for-all, looks a pretty handy field, Michael. Wonderful to fly, just all the way through the through the field there. And gee, he's a sport, drawn the outside first up. So looking forward to seeing how he goes. And of course, Sangu Real, who went 149.
Artie by the Seaside. So $1.40, gee, he's a sport with Tab Touch. And open at $1.26, touched 145, back into 140, and let's hope he lives up to the boom that he's got on him, because he sounds exciting.
Certainly does.
Time to take a break?
Yep.
All right. Now let's go to Bunbury. You mentioned it early in the show, Morts.
Yeah, it was a good card.
Storm. And stand by on Rawa social media. Steve Butler's gone down and done a story on Magnificent Storm, and I think Channel 7 are going to pick up parts of it as well and do a story on Channel 7. So great to see.
Brilliant. Really good.
Some harness coverage on Channel 7, and also some coverage with Rawa Media, so stand by. Let's go to Bunbury. And Magnificent Storm, he found the front. There was pressure from 1,000 out, but he pulled out too much, and great to see the champ back.
Magnificent Storm, 3/4 of a length. On the outside, Mr. Smarty, 27.6, a middle half in 54.9, if you don't mind. Up to the turn, Otis was in third. Magnificent Storm shook off Mr. Smarty. Switching wider was Mighty Conqueror as they come into the straight. Then Mighty Ronaldo, Wave Rider in the lead, though. It's Magnificent Storm. Otis getting along the breather, counting sprint lane. Otis is coming. He's trying to spoil the party. Magnificent Storm in for the fight. He is mighty. Magnificent Storm wins the Bunbury Cup. Second got tight. Wave Rider joined Otis at the...
There's always a lot more in store for you at Retrovision. Like Retrovision's lowest price guarantee. If you find a lower price on a same-stocked item, we'll beat it. There's our 60-day price promise, where we'll refund you 120% of the difference if you find a lower advertised price on any purchase. Plus, RAC members save an extra 5% every day of the year. After 60 years, a lot has changed, but there's still a lot more in store at Retrovision.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
To charge home, but probably giving them too much start as they come to the home turn around the bend, and Blaze Away is nicely out in front of At the Pointy End. On the outside, running a good race, has got a good Warhole. Relum is steaming home from the back, and then came Crowder Reactor, but Blaze Away is well clear. Over Got a Good Warhole. Crowder Reactor coming through. Relum on the outside. Barbados flashes late, but it's a very easy win in the end. Very easy win to Blaze Away, and beat home Got a Good Warhole. Tremendous go for third.
Yeah, it was pretty painless for us. Morts with the Trots End and Blaze Away, and he deserved to break through for that win at Gloucester Park.
Gee, he has been going really, really well for the stable. Good win. Drew wide, went back and put in at the right time and was just too good.
He's got plenty of ability, always has. Ran second in the Sales Classic as a 2-year-old, and then he's had his issues, but he seems to be getting his confidence back with Michael now. And
he certainly is.
Yeah, really, really good to have him back. And there was a lot of owners there, Morts.
Yes, very passionate, very happy owners. Now, Michael, just got to say one thing.
Yeah.
In the first segment there, I think I might have made a mistake talking about somebody who drove a horse that didn't drive the horse. So I got the person wrong, so I do apologise.
Okay.
That's okay?
There you go.
All good.
Now, speaking of Trots End and Blaze Away, we have 2 from the Sales Classic. We're syndicating. Only, I think, 3 shares left in the cult. The full brother to Ideal Beach by American Ideal, the super sire out of Cooper's Beach. 100% producer, including
Mickey's Beach.
Mickey's Beach, who's in tomorrow night. Yeah. And, of course, Ideal Beach. And I think only about 3 shares left. He's $4,950 for 5%. First 12 months, that's all in.
All paid. All paid.
First 12 months. Breaking in, training, getting it to the track. Hopefully we get to see a repeat of the Sales Classic in the scenes. And we've got a Sweet Lou filly. And Michael loves the Sweet Lou's. Justin's loves the Sweet Lou's.
The Sweet Lou's, yeah.
Everyone loves the Sweet Lou's. And she's on the same cross, Sweet Lou out of Artistic Fella Mare, that Copperhead Lady is.
Okay.
This filly, athletic filly. She's 5%. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 shares left in her as well. She's 3,900, and I know Justin really liked her. I spoke to Kevin Jevons. He actually really liked her as well at the sales, and really pleased to pick her up early.
And does that include 12 months as well?
12 months, breaking in.
That's great.
Breaking in training and getting into the track in that first 12 months. So it takes you up to, I think, April next year. So contact us at info@gloucesterpark.com.au or just ring Gloucester Park.
They've had some
success. I was going through.
Very good success.
I was going through. Of the 11, I think that Justin's picked for us that's got to the track, I think we've had 5 that have earned over 100,000. Some we've sold and moved on, but 5 have earned over 100,000 that Justin's picked. We've got this colt who's won 77 off 2 starts.
Yeah.
Who will get their Blazeaway's now won 70,000 from not many starts. And we're really excited. We're so excited about Perfect Mickey. I mean, you're in Perfect Mickey with us, and the way Justin talks about her, I think she's going to go places.
Yeah, very nice.
But just the success that Justin's had for Trots End and picking these yearlings for us has just been astonishing.
Done very well considering your budget in a market which has just gone crazy over recent years, and trying to find something that fits the budget's not simple sometimes.
No.
Got a great strike rate.
Staggering what Justin's been able to do with Trots In, and that's why we continue our association with who we think is the best in the business when it comes to 2-year-olds. Now, this segment is brought to you by Loans 123, car loans, debt consolidations, or your personal finance. Who do you see?
The great man Steve Sell, better known as the Nude Nut.
The Nude Nut at loans123.com.au, or the very easy to remember number 1800
100 100. Still doing things the banks can't, Michael.
He is. He's a great supporter of us. Obviously, he sponsors our great mate Brad Hardy.
He does.
On the breakfast show here on Tab Radio.
And I think last time we had our show, we didn't require Steve.
No, we didn't.
Late Friday night.
No, and hopefully we won't this week. Bomber's away overseas.
And Oli's promised to deliver.
And we've got the one and only. He's a guru. Oli Cownie joining us on the line. Oliver, welcome to the program.
Rads, Morts, it's good to be on. No pressure there after Bomber had a good night. No, I'm sure we can back that up with another good night, and Bomber can kick back and follow us in and back a few winners.
Pay for his overseas holiday. Do you get called Oliver much?
Only when I'm in trouble with the girlfriend or the parents.
I was going to say, probably. I would think your mother would be one that would revert to Oliver when you're in trouble.
Yeah, she's not often grumpy at me. I've always been a very well-behaved child, but no, when I do the wrong thing or anything, I do get Oliver a little bit here and there. But my dad actually, funnily enough, he said, I called you Oliver, so I'm going to call you Oliver, not Ollie or anything like that. But no, it's funny. Everyone calls you something different, but
sure do.
There's certainly worse things you could be called, isn't there?
Yes, been called many things over the years, so I'd settle for Oliver.
Yes.
Your mum and dad enjoy the harness racing as well, Ollie?
No, they haven't really been a part of it at all in their lives. So, I wish they had have been. It would have been really good for me to sort of get a bit of a grounding in trots growing up, more so. But no, it wasn't something they were interested in. But now that I am, my mum, she loves to paint, so she painted me a picture of one of my horses, which is really nice, and she tries to take an interest, which is nice. So, even though I wasn't brought up in the sport, I think I'm probably introducing them to it a little bit.
Oh, very good.
Now, before we get your tips, Hugo Tastic, you're a part owner of him. We just had your trainer on earlier, and he's got a bit of a rap on this fella.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's really excited about the way Hugo's been in his first few starts. And to the eye, he's been really impressive. That first start at Pinjarra, couldn't have done much more, running 25.9 down the back, and then came back to junior really nicely there once he did find the front. So he's a very promising horse. It'll be a bit of a test for him again tomorrow, but obviously he's a very short price favourite. So hopefully he can get the job done again. I can end up in that winners room again for another consecutive week.
Almost couldn't get you out on Friday night, Ollie, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I would have stayed in there if I could have.
Let's have a look at what we're going to look at tonight. You're going to take over for Bomber, so we've got 2 tips in this segment. We're going to start off with race number 2. Now, we've got 8 races on Friday night at Gloucester Park, and the first is at 5:55, and we're going to start at race number 2. Let's have a look at the Tab Touch market for the second. It's the Hoist Talk Australia pace over the 2130 metres. We've got Alfredi at $23, Relatively Armour at $7, the favourite Blame It on the Night for Gary Hall Jr. $205, Allwood Mac at $31, Addersport Major $61, Major Freeway $151, Lord Titanium at $650. He's Never Been Better was good first up at Bunbury at $19. The very good Great Boulder. Let's see if he's on his best behaviour on Friday night. He's at $340. Then with backline we have Feeling Aces at $41, World Secret at $91, and CD3 at $12. This is a really competitive race. Ollie, which way are we going?
Yeah, it's an interesting little race, this one. I don't think it's as simple as it looks in the market at the moment. I think Blame It on the Night's a pretty short price favourite at the moment, and he was okay last start. He was forced to do the work there, so that was certainly a factor. And I think Delulu went quite well. It was on Tuesday, and it certainly wasn't a bad effort. But I don't think it should have him an odds-on favourite in this race, especially when maybe the lead isn't absolutely guaranteed. I think there could be a little bit of speed on, and that could really set it up perfectly for He's Never Been Better, who I thought was terrific last start. First up from a spell, Bree Edmond, one of the junior drivers, took the drive there at Bunbury, and he did a lot of work in that race, and he wasn't beaten far. And I'm not really sure that's his go in life, doing a lot of work in his races. So from the wide gate, they certainly have options in this race. I'm not sure exactly how he'll be driven, but he's a really big price given how nice a horse he is at his best. He certainly wasn't at his best last time in, but he appears off his first run to have come back much better. And I think the best version of this horse would go really close in this race. So at the current price, I'm happy to have something each way there.
So that's race number 2, horse number 8. He's Never Been Better.
With $19.360 a place.
With my man aboard, Trent Wheeler.
Trent Wheeler.
Got a treble. Was it not last week, the week before?
Ago, yeah. And an emotional night for the team, driving for Aiden.
Absolutely. And no, he's in great form. And so what's the staking plan there, Ollie?
Happy to have half a unit each way there, and hopefully we can get a collect.
Half a unit each way. Race 2, number 8.
$90.360 on that Tab Touch. The next race we're going to look at is race number 3. This is the Retrovision mobile pace over the 2130 metres. Let's have a look at the Tab Touch market. Sister Sammy, 235, opened up in the red, but out to 235, scratched the 2. Mickey Pello at 31, Mr. Piccolo at 21. One Smart Fella 151, Wine Gum 51, Jackpot Joe 126, Spyglass the 8, 550 to 275. A bit of a correction there on Tab Touch. Mahangatari is at $61. Mickey's Beach first up for Jay Prentice and Glenn Mortimer. $340, $390 back into $350. Princess Katie $34 and Frisky Sticks at $750. Ollie, are you going with Morts or are you steering away?
In this race, yeah, I'm steering away. So, but I'm happy to be wrong. And if Mickey's Beach is able to get up, I'll be very happy for Morts. But I thought this looked a really good race for Spyglass, who's been pretty impressive so far in WA. Racing for Mick Boots, who also obviously owns Swayze, and he'll be aiming at a Nullarbor campaign very soon. He's won, and then he's run a lot of placings since, but I think there's been a lot of merit in those placings, and his most recent placing was behind Franco Ecuador, and it just became a bit of a dash home there, and Franco Ecuador was on the front end and was just able to hold on, and Spyglass flashed late and missed. So I think this race looks a really suitable race for him to work around to the breeze outside of Sister Sammy and just to control the race from there, because I think his biggest danger looks to be Mickey's Beach. He'll be held up there on the pegs. Junior, he's always good at getting them away from those positions, so he'll certainly be very dangerous. And if he is able to get out, he's a brilliantly fast horse. So he's a very good winning hope. But I thought the one that had gone up maybe a touch under the odds early was Sister Sammy. I think first up from a spell and against some pretty quality opposition, I think the odds on quote was just far too short in the early stages. And for mine, I think Spyglass is certainly the one to beat there. He's a very, very fast horse, and if he can just control it and not let the main danger out, I think he can be awfully hard to beat there.
Well, I hope you're wrong, Ollie. You could have a very, very short career on Talking Trots. Race number...
Well, I'm happy to be wrong. I certainly am.
But to your point, Ollie, Spyglass has been racing very, very well for Lindsay Harper, who trains and drives, has drawn the 8 there. Interesting field and sure to be a good race. So race number 3, horse number 8, Spyglass for LB Harper. What's the staking plan there?
We'll have 3 units on that. Reasonably confident, and I think we're getting a good enough price about him to find out if he's good enough to breeze and win.
Currently 275 with Tab Touch. Now, tomorrow morning, Morts, the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview on Tab Radio, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Tim Walker, Trent Cooper, Glenn Moore, Matt Young. The boys will be in. Mike Reid and Gary Hall Jr. will be the guests previewing the 8 races.
Well, that'll be good to get a steer as to where Waterloo's at, that's for sure, with Mike Reid. And Junior's always very good with his time and talking about his chances. So be certainly listening in tomorrow morning, that's for sure.
And this morning on the breakfast show, after Adam, Denny Roberts was on, talking about the Nullarbor and their chances with obviously Minstrel taking the Ladbroke spot. And they've got a couple that could potentially fill the team Bond spot. And obviously G's a Sport and Tenzig Bromac. But a horse that has probably come out of nowhere in the past month is Just Call Me Mickey, hasn't he? Emerged.
Certainly has. Yep, certainly has been very, very impressive. So be interesting to see just how far can go this campaign.
Yeah, he looked a class above. He's 114 last week, but I tell you what, Longreach Bay, who's racing in great form for Peter King, Joseph Alco in the bike, gave him something to catch, but in the end it was just a little bit of class prevailing for Just Call Me Mickey.
On the outside nicely now, Just Call Me Mickey. Rolling down the rivers, holding down third. Lord Titanium's on its back. That looks the top 4 at the moment as they come to the turn. Just Call Me Mickey has raced up and taken the lead now. From in second place, Longreach Bay. Third, rolling down the river. And then Lord Titanium, and further back is Orion Rock. But Just Call Me Mickey pulling away from Longreach Bay, Lord Titanium, and rolling down the river. And a nice win to Just Call Me Mickey. Just Call Me Mickey by 3 metres to Longreach Bay. Third, Lord Titanium, and fourth is rolling down.
New Mazda.
Yep, I love it. We got it from Bayswater Mazda.
I keep hearing great things about them.
They're fantastic to deal with. Great people, great coffee too.
At Bayswater Mazda, you'll always be well looked after. Visit the team today and find the best drive-away deals on new Mazdas and pre-owned vehicles. Driving is better with Bayswater Mazda.
So's the coffee.
Go and see Bayswater Mazda at the corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, Bayswater. DL 25174.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Come up towards a home turn with about 300 metres left to go, and Manhattan Ruby had bounded clear. Manhattan Ruby is well out in front, holding down second, controlled the room in a 28.5. Village DJ back on the inside, trying hard. Out wider, running on strongly, has beat it like Becker and Lulamore as well. But it is all over. It's Manhattan Ruby a mile out in front, doing it well over the final stages. Good battle for the Miners, control the room. Lulamore will get it. Lulamore second, control the room third, and fourth in Village DJ on the inside with
Manhattan Ruby owned, trained, bred and driven by Corey Peterson. He did it all. Good to see, Corey. That's 4 starts now for 3 wins.
Good to see.
By Soho Tribeca out of the Bettor's Delight Mare, the Achiever, which Corey raced.
Very good to see for Corey. Like you said, did the lot, Michael.
Yep, good to see. And great to see that she picked up one of those Autumn Series finals at a Metro stake. And, yeah, really good. Corey does a lot of hard work and does a really good job. He sure does. All right, this segment, Morts, is brought to you by the one and only Retrovision. For all, what does the ad say? For all the electrical things that you love.
Electrical stuff
that you love.
Yes. Get into your local Retrovision store. We have our lowest price guarantee, so we will match the JB Hi-Fis, the Good Guys, the Harvey Norman, and then if you're an RAC member, we'll just slip you an extra 5%. How can you lose?
On the best price.
On the best price. 4.9 Google star rating. The best service in town. So get to your local Retrovision store right now.
Yeah, now if you need it. Retrovision.com.au.
Yes. Correct. Open 24/7.
Yep. And great supporters here all over the country. You see the red signs all over the country, tracks, Morts?
Certainly do. Love supporting the country tracks.
Down at Bunbury for the Bunbury Cup, there was red signs there. Pinjarra,
Busselton.
Yep.
Hopefully Albany next season. So
yeah, that'll be really good. All right, let's have a look at the next race we're going to have a look at. And I don't know whether Ollie's going to have a job with us next week if he keeps on tipping like this.
This week, in the next 10 minutes.
It's race number 6. And let's have a look. This is the West Side Auto Wholesalers second division of the free-for-allers. We got Regazzo Mac. It's $8.50 into $6. Star Casino. It's had good support. $4.20 into $3.40. Faster Than Dad. $51. Hoppy's Way. $26. Rock and Roll Artist. $8. The Returning Rolling Fire for Justin Prentice. Gary Hall Jr. jumps back aboard. Open $1.60, which is short. Out to $1.85. I think you'll be able to get black odds about it. Paul Edward at $10 in from 18, and Hillview Bondi. He's drawn the outside of the 8 at $51. Ollie, you went away from Morts in an earlier race. Are you doing the same here?
You're bound to have a little double here, Morts. Probably Mickey's Beach into Rolling Fire is a mole. The multi, but no, I thought Star Casino has been really good recently, and the Ray Williams team have just been flying at the moment. Vanderbilt's never gone better, and obviously we've seen Magnificent Storm just go awesome on return. Just really an amazing effort to get that horse going the way it has, given the long layoff. And Star Casino is another horse in his team, which is just going terrific at the moment. He was really good too back in a strong enough race behind Soho Santorini. They really just turned it into a dash home there, and he was very game in defeat, only beaten 5 metres. And then last start behind Dalby Robin, he was bolting late and just couldn't quite get clear there when held up on the inside. So I certainly think he's going well enough to take out a race of this nature. He just doesn't seem to have a whole lot of gate speed anymore, or they don't tend to use it quite as much. So I think he might be set up in this race, and if he can sort of stay close to the speed and not too far away from Rolling Fire, then I think he can be really hard to beat. It really does look a race in 2 on paper for me between Rolling Fire and Star Casino, and Star Casino is already in the running line from gate 2 and certainly has options from that gate. So I think the prices are just too far apart at the moment.
As you said, Ollie, the Ray Williams stable is absolutely flying at the moment. Everything's going well. Has drawn well. Got Denny Roberts on board, so got one of the best drivers in WA. Race 6, number 2, Star Casino for Ray Williams and Denny Roberts. What's the staking plan?
We'll have 2 units on that one.
2 units currently at $3.40, Michael.
Indeed, it is.
Nice price.
All right. And the final race we're going to look at is race number 7. And we got Major Typhoon at 18 in from 26. Finula at $4.80. Gelissimo Amal at 91. Fakin at 122. Is favourite in from 145 into 122, faking it. Ruby Lou at 31, Wicked Lover at 34, the Lulu at 14, and Aretha at 16. This is for the 3-year-old fillies. They all would start over 21.30. Ollie, what have we got for the 7th?
Well, I certainly wasn't planning on tipping a $1.22 shot, but she's been heavily backed today, and I think rightfully so. She just looks a class above these. She was a total certainty beat last start. She really should have won that race and should have won it pretty easily. She just found all sorts of trouble and was narrowly beaten in the end behind Raynette, who's a handy enough horse in her own right. And Aretha was in third, who's in this race again, but Faking It has the barrier draw advantage over what seems to be the main rivals in Delulu and Aretha. So I really just think she should lead and she should win, and it looks a really good third leg to that quaddie. Looks a really good banker for us there. So I think, Faking It should just really be winning.
Certainly been very impressive in 2 starts to date. Gary Hall Senior trains and Gary Hall Junior drives, so it's a pretty formidable duo there. Race number 7, horse number 4, Faking It. I can feel more than 3 units coming on. Ollie, what have we got?
Yeah, we'll go the max bet on this one. We'll go 5 units. I really do think she looks the one to beat.
Let's load up on Faking It in race 7, 5 units.
Have you got a multi for us, Ollie?
Yeah, I did come up with a little multi. I think, I don't know whether it's better to play this on the tote or whether it's better to play fixed odds, but Spyglass, the place, I think, looks a pretty good angle. I think he should really get every chance up on speed on Friday. And then I thought in race 4, I thought He's the Sport could make a statement here heading into what is likely to be a Nullarbor campaign. And then I thought in race 7 we can add Faking It for another 22%. So I think all those 3 should do the job for us.
Yeah, so around $1.24 into $1.40 into $1.22, which is about $2.10 or so, give or take a cent. All right, Ollie, stay there because you've got to come back and do some more. Some double duty with some
Northern and Bridgetown.
And now, interesting, we threw in G's a Sport into that. The second rankings for the Fremantle Cup have come out, not in the top 20. G's a Sport hasn't won a free-for-all yet, I don't think, which is probably the reason why. But interesting, Don Hugo over Swayze, I thought was interesting as far as the ranking goes. Catch a Wave's in there at 5. These are behind Magnificent Storm and Minstrel's number 1, Magnificent Storm, both golden ticket winners. Don Hugo, Swayze, Catch a Wave. Mr. Smarty 5, so Never Ending.
Take out Never Ending.
7.
Take him out.
So not going around the Fremantle Cup either and won't get there. Tenzing Bromac, after his really good performance, is currently 8. San Real is 9. Penny Tiger's in Queensland, so you can take him out as well. You've got Mighty Ronaldo in at 11, Swing Band 12. Then you've got just outside, which are probably pushing in now, the next 2, Hampton Banner and Steno. They're the top 12 now if you take out Never Ending and Penny Tiger. Then you've got Tricky Mickey, Artie by the Seaside, Just Call Me Mickey, Magnificent, Wave Rider jumps to 19 after his Bunbury Cup run, and Mighty Conqueror, the former Pacing Cup winner, rounds out the 20. That could change. Well, it will change, I'd imagine, after Friday night, depending on how a few run, and including G's a Sport.
Yeah, you would think so. It's always a tight affair, that ranking, getting into that Fremantle Cup. Yeah. So a bit to play out over the next few weeks.
Obviously, the Governor's Cup's got to have a big bearing on it.
Certainly will.
Nullarbor gets a free entry, a free kick, a golden ticket, and obviously got the they're the 2 big races leading into.
Yeah, should be good. Should be good.
The Nullarbor, then the Fremantle Cup, and obviously putting those 2 races together has seen horses like Swayze and Don Hugo and Catch a Wave come.
Unbelievable.
And it's been the right move, Morts.
Yeah, it certainly has. Because, as you know, when we have horses travel over east, we all tend to watch the races a lot more. Same horses coming across here.
All our biggest turnover races generally have interstate runners.
Yep.
And having these 3 and the quality of these 3
are the best.
is just amazing. Interesting enough, did you hear Junior comment when he was with Gareth yesterday, when they were asking about Swayze sitting outside him, and Junior said he's 1,000 to 1 to beat us. Well, he said he might get us both beat, but he won't be winning.
1,000 to 1.
1,000 to 1.
Big call. Big call.
I think Gareth went to have $1 on, and Junior said, "You've got to produce the dollar for me to let you on." All right, it's time to take a break. And speaking of that man, Gary Hall Jr., Dalvey Robin. Wasn't he a good performance last week?
Certainly has been travelling beautifully.
That was a really good performance. Yep. Had to do it tough.
Great drive.
Yeah, really good. Dictated terms and just made him too good. Mick Boots, the owner of Swayze, owns Dalvey Robin. He'll be here for the Nullarbor.
Great.
And obviously sending more and more horses over here, like Spyglass and the like, and it's great to see him supporting WO Racing. As we go to the break, let's listen to Dalvey Robin getting the better of last week's almost free-for-all class.
Dalvey Robin the outside though. Dalvey Robin and Rock and Roll Artist stride for stride. Star Casino looks for a run. Dangerous if he can get out. And on the outside still there is our Ultimate Chevron in the straight. Dalvey Robin races to Rock and Roll Artist who's trying to kick on the outside. Ultimate Chevron, but it's Dalvey Robin storming clear with 100 to go. Ultimate Chevron. El Shemmer flies late. The inside Rock and Roll Artist, but a very nice performance by the horse from Barrier 9, Dalvey Robin. And Dalvey Robin has won very nicely.
Hi, I'm Steve Sell from Loans 123. We are car finance specialists. We can help you find the loan you're looking for, your new car, and help find a home for your old one. If you want a new or used car but feel uncomfortable visiting car yards on your own, we can help and often save you money. For a stress-free way of buying and financing your next car, who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
About a metre in front, Lucasso gives chase. Rewatch is about to go back to the Loveridge Digital Sprint lane. It's race on. Message Bank, Rewatch Lucasso. On the outside, it's still Message Bank. It's pulling away Message Bank. Lucasso galloped, and it's going to be Message Banks for the Gold Crown. Message Bank wins. Second Rewatch, third was Soho Park Avenue, and fourth...
Big night at Bathurst last Saturday night. The Gold Crown, Gold Tiara for the 2-year-olds. Used to be the biggest 2-year-old race in Australia. It's probably lost a little bit that, but it's fighting back, I think, as far as
very popular.
Significance.
Yeah.
And also the Chalice for the 3-year-olds. And great to see Message Back. Very good. He smashed him in the heat. He went 153. I couldn't believe they bet $12.
Yeah, no, it was a very good price and a good win. Very good win.
He sat outside him in the heat and went 153, and he was $12 in the final. Great for David Hewitt. He's one of life's gentlemen, David Hewitt. He was up in Queensland for the Ultimate Driver supporting Brad, and I had a quick chat to him up there. He's just a great... He had Extreme C, who was a leading light for the Eureka before he went amiss, and before that, when I was younger coming through, he had a horse called Red Sea, who is that much ability. Is like, I remember him, he beat Golden Rain one day. That's how good a horse he was. And I was a kid coming through, and it's like, oh. But he's such a nice bloke. I think that was his first Group 1, David.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Are they from Goulburn?
Goulburn, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Great Hewitt family. Bernie Hewitt's a great fella,
Yeah.
but Brad's a really good fella. They got the locomotive. Won the Inter-Dominion for Trotters this year in Sydney, or last year in Sydney, and they got the locomotive at Cambridge on Friday as well.
Yep.
So good luck to the team there. Really, really good family, and he's just very quiet man, David, but just one of nature's gentlemen. And
it's good to hear.
Really
Always good to hear.
Yeah, really great to see. The Bathurst Gold Crown Carnival used to be my favourite. I hosted for Sky Channel the year Lombo Pocket Watch.
Right, for Mick Lombardo.
Yeah, Mick Lombardo and Gavin Fitzpatrick and the team, Paul Fitzpatrick, and it was a really good year. But it used to be massive when the honoree and all that. They used to have parades and everything.
Yeah.
But, good to see that's getting back to somewhere where it is with prize money as well. So great to have the Bathurst Gold Crown, and again, great calling from Freddie Hastings.
Bathurst normally over an 8 card night, you'll normally see the name Turnbull there somewhere.
Yeah, the term. Yeah,
they do dominate
Bathurst,
the area.
Yeah, that was
dominate.
And actually, there was the Chalice was won by a horse by the name of Jack's Ultimate Fury, who's by Bettor's Delight out of Major Reality.
Major Reality, yeah, it was a very nice mare.
It was
down
a big
there
win as well. big
from
win. Justin Prentice.
Justin Prentice. One of the foals out of Major Reality.
Yeah, broke the record when
Yeah.
she went through her first foal. Who was by Better Still Light,
Yeah.
broke the record, since been beaten. This year we had 2 go through at 360.
Unbelievable.
Stonewall Boredom, Crandell-Getty was the underbidder.
Too much for me, Michael.
Indeed,
you need
it
the
is.
decimal point about four spots to the left, I think.
All right. Now, big weekend of harness racing here in WA. Obviously, Friday night. We got 8 races, the first at 5:55. We head to Northam on Saturday night, the first at 5:50. There's 7 races. And then we got Bridgetown on Sunday, the 7 races.
Bridgetown Cup Day.
Bridgetown Cup Day, the first at 12:39 at Bridgetown. And Oli will also probably give us a couple at Albion Park. Oli?
Off to Bridgetown on Sunday, Michael?
If you give me a lift in the Mazda. Which reminds me, Morts, this segment is brought to you by Bayswater Mazda, corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, and
driving is better in a Mazda, but not just any old Mazda, a Bayswater Mazda, corner of Garrett Road and Guildford Road in Bayswater. Get out and see the team. Still got the best range of used cars, new cars, service, and of course the best coffee in Perth.
Yeah, always plenty of people there looking at cars as we drive past.
Getting the coffee.
Yeah, if you drive and if you give me a lift in the Bayswater Mazda, I'll be
We'll go down to Bridgetown.
I'll be there with you. All right, Oli, are you still there?
I am. Yeah, no.
Good to see.
I'm looking forward to the next few days of racing. There is some good racing, and it looks a solid card there at Northam. At Northam, I'm keen to kick things off in race 4, and it's a horse that was really good first up. I thought Captain Said So. It was in a race behind Madam Publisher and Captain Sterling. And the third horse there was He's Never Been Better, who I thought could run a good race, obviously, tomorrow night. So I think those form lines look really good. He's drawn to advantage over main rivals in this race in Beyond Bling, who was really good last start, and Arian Rock, who's outside back row. So I think Captain Said So can force his way to the front in this race, and from there can prove really hard to beat in this company. Generally pretty hard to catch the leader around Northam, so I think he can lead and be really hard to beat in that race.
Yeah, Aidan DeCampo, trainer and driver, and on the HRA site they've got it marked at about $3. You got another one for us at Northam?
Yeah, I do in race 5 in the stand start. So we'll certainly be holding our breath at the start. But Barbados, I think, is going quite well at the moment, and his numerical form doesn't look great, but there's been a lot of merit to a lot of his efforts in recent times, and he draws reasonably well in the stand. He's only off 20 metres here, and the horses in front of him probably haven't been going that well. So if he can step well, hold the advantage to all of the horses behind him, I think he can be really hard to beat. And if he was able to push onto the front end, he'd be awfully hard to beat there. So I'm really happy to be with Barbados in that race.
All right, that's Northam on Saturday night. Then we head to Bridgetown on Sunday for the Harcourts Heartland Bridgetown Cup Day. It's a 25.97 metre race, the Bridgetown Cup. What do you got for us at Bridgetown?
Kick things off in the first race there at Bridgetown. I thought this looked a really suitable race for My Sweet Addiction, who might be able to find the front with the stablemate drawn in gate 1 here. I think it might hand over to My Sweet Addiction, and it ran a really good race last start on the front end. They cleared out a really big margin to third in that race, beat third by 20 metres, and My Sweet Addiction was just run down by Major J, who's probably quite a classy type in this type of company. So I think off the back of that effort, if My Sweet Addiction can find the front in what looks a much easier race, I think it'll take a stack of beating. And even if it goes around a pretty short price favourite, I still think it's worth having something on there.
All right, Cody Waldrop takes the drive on My Sweet Addiction the first. 2:15, they've got it marked as, but you think it might be shorter there, Ollie?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be odds on.
Okay, what else you got for us at Bridgetown?
In race 6, Relum, I think looks really well suited in this race. It looks a competitive race, and there's certainly a few horses that are going well, but Relham was just luckless last start. Abby Vidovic, who's been terrific since they brought the new system in, she's been driving plenty of winners, and I think she gets another really good opportunity in this race. He's a horse that probably does his best work when he's sat up for one run at them late, and that was how it played out last start, but there was just no tempo in the race. He was wide on the way home when they were running, and it certainly became very hard for the back markers when Blaze Away found the top. So I think Relham can bounce back in this race and score another win over the 2,500 metre distance, which certainly appears on paper like it'll suit him.
Strong form line Relham behind Blaze Away and goes into the Bridgetown Cup. In the HRA marked about $6 chance, so might be a bit of value there. And Albion Park Saturday night. What have we got? We've got 9 races. Albion Park Saturday night. What do you got for us, Ollie?
Yeah, there's plenty of quality there on Saturday night. There's a few races which will be really hotly contested, and which is always good. I think race 2, this looks one of those races where there's a few really nice upcoming horses engaged. I think Delhi Road looks like he can continue his winning streak. He draws below what looked to be his main rivals on paper. Regato D'Artilli was super last time in, was a real revelation and didn't have a lot of luck in a lot of his races. But I think with the draw advantage, Delhi Road can find the front and prove really hard to beat in that race. He was able to sit off the pegs and beat Tim's a Trooper, and he beat Turn It Up. So last starter were really classy horses in their own right. They ran good time. So I think Delhi Rowe, looks like he's made a step up to open type company this time in, and he can score another win there on Saturday from a good draw.
All right, Chantel Turpin, the trainer, taking the claim with Tom Callaghan driving at Delhi Rowe. What else you got for us at Albion Park?
The other one I've got for us is in the next race, race 3, Jim RT. He was just completely luckless last start. He worked really hard to try and get over in the early stages, and he couldn't quite get there. And the leader, Manila Playboy, who's a really nice horse in his own right, was able to lead and win, but he was really game in defeat. He was only beaten 7.5 metres despite breezing throughout. And I think this race, he really looks very likely to find himself on the front end, and his major danger looks to be Whisperer Seeker, and that horse is drawn gate 7. So it certainly looks like he's got a very tough task ahead of him from that gate, and Jim RT can just roll along in the front end and prove really hard to beat there.
Jim RT, Ricky Thurlow takes the drive there, and Ricky Thurlow, here we go, a bit of trivia for you, one of the only drivers to drive both the Gold Tiara, Gold Crown winners on the same night. Did it with Flubber back in the 90s for the... Flubber, who was...
Flubber.
Yeah, one of the dominators. So Peter Walsh trained it, and Ricky took over the stable driving from... who was driving? Robbie Burns might have been the stable driver before that. Ricky took over and had been a boom junior driver, and then he drove a filly for Fitzpatrick's. And he won Flubber was very short, and he won the fillies race, and he thought, well, no one's ever done it before, and he got really Ricky, he gets a bit nervous, Rick, and he got a bit nervous. He's out the back, wouldn't talk to anyone, and Flubber came out and did what Flubber did. He was a really good 2-year-old Flubber.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall Flubber.
There you go. No, it was back in the 90s. There you go.
Okay.
Reminiscing. There we go. You wouldn't remember Flubber either.
No, I certainly don't. He's been driving Jim RT really well, though, and he usually has a team of horses which he gets going pretty well, but I haven't seen him training any recently, so maybe he's got a new team of horses ready to step out any day now.
Yes. Yeah, no, he was a really good juvenile Flubber, and Peter Walsh trained it, and Terry Cherry was the filly's name. And he drove for Paul Fitzpatrick and the big double. I don't know whether anyone else has done it. There you go. And that was when it was one of the bigger. It was 90,000 then.
Yeah,
back in 1998. There you go. 1998.
90 grand.
We were only young then, Morts.
Yes.
Ollie, how old were you in 1998?
That's the year I was born.
There we go. Hey.
The year you're born.
Were you born, Brian?
27 years ago.
Minus
Minus
3. There we
three.
go, Brian.
So, Brian.
There we go. I was in my prime in 98.
1998. Isha Mount won the grand final, so it was always a good year.
Yeah. Well, Knights had won it the year before in 97,
Right.
so I was on top of the world then.
No, we got rolled by South Fremantle in 97, unfortunately, but
go.
won in 98, so
Hey.
it was a good year.
There we go. Reminiscing. Ollie, thank you for doing double time for us. Hopefully, hopefully you find a couple of winners. We're not wishing you luck on a couple of them, Ollie. And it's not a good occupational thing to tip against Morts. Let me tell you.
No, I certainly wish you both the best with your runners tomorrow. Maybe we can sort out a couple of dead heats there.
Yeah, well, hopefully something for the battlers. Good on you, Ollie.
That would be good.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time.
Ollie.
Talk to you next week. Here we go.
Centre Square, you all over it?
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Not?
Oh,
we're getting into the main season.
I'm waiting for young Jay to go on there.
Oh, Jay Hill.
Jay Hill.
Yes. Yeah, you've got to have a word to our man over there.
I saw Bomber post, is it this week or last week, that he's vice captain at Claremont now, of the Colts or whatever he plays, and very, very. They telling me, I know, I get Mole, and they tell me very strong draft prospect.
We're trying to give you the heads up here, Bray.
There we go.
Yep. So
I don't know much about AFL, but I know about Jay Hill. There you go.
Well, get along and have a listen to Centre Square with Bray and Ethan, the Subiaco Colts review. Yeah, that didn't float my boat, no. So that got a bit of a line, but we'll be back into everything waffle next week. Great, looking forward to it. Good show, as ours is, Michael. Fantastic, number one rating show in our opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody else's, unfortunately.
No.
But it was a good week of racing.
It's the number one Thursday night harness podcast on Tab Radio.
Yeah, because I think it may be just the only one. There are some good races out there at Gloucester Park.
Really looking forward to it
on Friday night.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Those good horses are coming back as well. So,
it's exciting.
Great to see. I'm really looking forward to see G's a sport with the wraps on him, and hopefully that if the talk's right, that he's going to progress through. And but I tell you what, it's a tough test. Starting by the seaside.
Yeah.
It's a great Real.
It's a great race.
It's a really good race. It's a good testing. If he wins that, then you know he's a genuine nullable chance, and obviously we want to see the good mares go around. Penny Black versus
I can't
Waterloo
wait to see
is just fantastic.
It's going to be and the stand. Just close your eyes and
just hopefully they get through.
So hopefully they get through. But
both off the back mark together.
It should be a good battle, as you said.
Shannon v Junior,
Penny Black. It's going to be a ripper. So there's some good racing Friday night, of course.
First race is a good race. Second,
Yep, they all are. We've got the Bridgetown Cup on Sunday, which will be good. So plenty to watch. And can't believe the Nullarball's only 3 weeks
away. Been planning and having meetings all week with the racing team, and also Tab Touch today about different things we're planning and different things. So really looking forward to the next couple of weeks and building into the Nullarball and working on a few other things. So
it's worked out well. I remember, for quite some time there, we had the WA Pacing Cup, which is the pinnacle here in Western Australia, and we had it in January. Rolling into the Freo Cup. I think this move's allowed us to get those interstate horses across and into one of our big races here in WA, and reposition our own Pacing Cup into December, which is a great wagering time. So it's really worked out well.
No, they really have. And now we've got guaranteed planes over here, which is the really big issue to getting horses over here before the Pacing Cup now in December, they come over with the Pinnacles, and now with the Nullarball Western Trilogy flight to get them over here for the Fremantle Cup, and I think it just elevates those cup races. So and interesting that Rail has put out a review of the feature races, which we got to be a part of.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and so obviously the trainers that race in this, you've got to take their feedback of when they place their horses and all that sort of stuff, which is really important to make sure that horses get their breaks when they need to and be able to build in and also build up our big days and make sure they're in the right position to maximise wagering, which is the biggest thing, like getting the data for wagering and making sure we're maximising that.
Yeah, absolutely. So still a bit of work to be done there on the programming, and we knew that would be the case.
And it's happened over the last couple of years as we've gone through the change to the calendar year and all that sort of stuff. It's, and I think, a lot of the races at the end of the year have sort of planned out okay.
Yeah.
But you also got to make sure that, we're maximising everything, which is the main thing.
I think it's always going to be a work in progress. I don't think.
I think you've got to always,
It's never going to be set in stone.
No, you've always
got to continually review and make some changes to, as you say, get the best outcomes for wagering. So, and some great racing.
And talking to Tab Touch, they've got some exciting things coming up as well, leading into the end of the year as well, and a few different things. And this year, the Retrovision Golden Nugget is Italian Night.
Yeah,
so
which is
goes
fabulous.
into that second week of November. So
still my favourite race.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I do love the Golden Nugget.
So
4-year-olds, they're
just great. And they're going to get them to be able to go through and then, if they're good enough, go into those Cups races.
Yeah.
Whereas last year we had Mr. Smarty go through the feature race and then drop back to the 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it just flows better this year with able to move that pace.
Great. No, very good. Oh, well,
All right.
been a good show.
It's been a good show. Thanks to Michael Young for giving up his time and Oli for doing double duty. Thanks for Bray for pushing all the buttons. Mort, thanks to you.
No, thank you,
Wore
Michael.
your good Foster's shirt in today?
Yeah, absolutely. Might even have one when I get home, Michael. Every chance.
Thanks to everyone listening. Hope we found a few winners. Until next week, it's bye for now.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.